Today's update is important, especially for older Americans, retirees, and anyone relying on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or fixed income support. There has been growing confusion, emotional reactions, and many unanswered questions surrounding reports of a possible Trump executive action involving a $2,000 stimulus payment and a January rebate timeline. In this video, we are going to slow everything down and explain what is real, what is being discussed, what is misunderstood, and what seniors actually need to pay attention to right now. This is not hype. This is not fear-based messaging. This is a clear step-by-step explanation so you can understand what may be coming, what is not confirmed yet, and how this could affect your monthly income, benefits, and financial planning. Over the past several weeks, many seniors have heard headlines suggesting that a $2,000 stimulus payment is coming back through executive action. Others have heard that January rebates are being planned as a form of relief for rising costs, inflation pressure, and household expenses that continue to hit retirees the hardest. These conversations are happening because Americans are still struggling with high prices for food, housing, utilities, insurance, and healthcare, and older adults often feel these increases first and most sharply. When people hear the word stimulus, emotions rise quickly because for many households, even a temporary payment can mean stability, breathing room, or simply peace of mind. To understand what is being discussed now, it's important to understand how executive action actually works. An executive action, including an executive order or directive, does not automatically create new money the way Congress does when it passes a stimulus bill. Instead, executive action typically directs federal agencies to use existing authority, existing funds, or existing programs in a different way. That means when you hear talk of stimulus through executive action, it often involves reallocating funds, accelerating payments, expanding eligibility under current law, or issuing rebates connected to taxes, tariffs, or fees that already exist. This distinction matters because it affects both timing and eligibility. The $2,000 figure being discussed now is not coming from a brand new law that has already been passed. It is tied to proposals, public statements, and policy discussions around economic relief, tariffs, and consumer cost offsets. Some of these discussions focus on rebates connected to trade policy, import fees, or government revenue sources rather than traditional stimulus checks like those issued during the pandemic. That is why you may hear the word rebate instead of stimulus in some reports. A rebate is typically a return of collected funds rather than newly created spending. For seniors, the most important question is whether Social Security recipients, SSI beneficiaries, SSDI recipients, and VA beneficiaries would be included if such a program moved forward. Historically, when the government has issued broad economic payments, Social Security recipients have often been included automatically because the government already has their payment information on file. However, this is not guaranteed and depends entirely on how any future program is structured. Executive action cannot override eligibility rules written into law, but it can expand or clarify how existing programs are applied. Another major point of confusion involves timing. Many people are hearing January and assuming that checks or deposits are already scheduled. That is not accurate. January is being discussed as a possible implementation window or starting point if certain administrative steps are completed. Even when executive action is signed, agencies still need time to issue guidance, confirm funding sources, and set operational timelines. For seniors who budget carefully month to month, it is especially important not to count on money that has not been officially announced or scheduled. At the same time, there are real economic relief mechanisms already in place that seniors should not overlook. Social Security cost of living adjustments, Medicare premium changes, and state-level assistance programs can sometimes provide more predictable support than one-time payments. While a one-time $2,000 payment would certainly help many households, it does not replace the importance of stable monthly income and benefit protection. That is why policy discussions often focus on a combination of immediate relief and longer-term adjustments. It is also important to understand how pensions and retirement income fit into this conversation. Private pensions are generally not directly affected by federal stimulus or rebate programs, but pensioners who also receive Social Security may see indirect benefits if relief programs include Social Security recipients. Federal pensions and military retirement benefits sometimes follow separate administrative rules, so eligibility can vary. Seniors should always pay close attention to official benefit notices and not rely solely on headlines or social media claims. Scams tend to increase whenever there is talk of stimulus or rebates, and seniors are often targeted. Any legitimate payment from the federal government does not require you to pay a fee, provide banking information by phone, or click on unsolicited messages. If a payment were approved, it would be announced through official government channels and delivered using existing payment methods, such as direct deposit or mailed checks. Protecting yourself from misinformation and fraud is just as important as understanding potential benefits. Another concern many seniors have is whether receiving a stimulus or rebate could affect eligibility for other benefits. In past programs, stimulus payments were not counted as income for purposes of determining eligibility for programs like Medicaid or supplemental security income, at least for a certain period. However, each program sets its own rules, and executive action alone cannot permanently change how income and resources are counted without legal authority. This is why details matter and why waiting for official guidance is essential. As we move forward, it is also helpful to understand why these discussions are happening now. Rising consumer costs, political pressure, and public concern about affordability are driving policymakers to explore every available option. Seniors, in particular, have become a central focus because fixed incomes leave little room to absorb sudden price increases. While not every proposal becomes reality, sustained public attention can influence how quickly decisions are made and which groups are prioritized. In the next part of this video, we will take a deeper look at how a January rebate timeline could realistically unfold, what steps would need to happen before any money is issued, how seniors can prepare without putting themselves at financial risk, and what signs to watch for that indicate real action versus speculation. Understanding the process empowers you to make informed decisions and avoid unnecessary stress. As we continue this discussion, the most important thing for seniors to understand is how a January rebate timeline would realistically move from talk to action. Government payments do not appear overnight. Even when there is political momentum or public statements suggesting relief is being considered, several steps must occur before any money reaches people's accounts. This matters because many older adults are planning carefully around rent, utilities, medical bills, groceries, and debt payments, and relying on unconfirmed money can create unnecessary financial stress. If an executive action were to be announced, the first step would be formal language outlining what the action actually does. This would include whether funds are being redirected from an existing program, whether a rebate is tied to prior tax payments, tariffs, or fees, and which federal agency is responsible for distributing the money. Until that language exists, no timeline is guaranteed. January is being discussed because it aligns with new fiscal periods, administrative resets, and the start of benefit recalculations, but discussion alone does not equal approval. For seniors, one of the most common questions is whether Social Security checks would automatically include any extra payment. Historically, when relief payments were issued to Social Security recipients, they were delivered separately from monthly benefits. That means even if a $2,000 payment were approved, it would likely arrive as a separate deposit or check, not as an increase to your regular Social Security amount. Understanding this distinction helps prevent confusion when checking bank statements or mail. Another major issue is eligibility. Many older Americans assume that if a payment is announced, everyone will qualify. That has never been the case. Eligibility is usually based on income thresholds, tax filing status, benefit type, or residency requirements. Retirees with modest incomes often qualify, but higher income retirees may not. Those receiving SSI or SSDI are sometimes included automatically, but again, this depends on how the program is structured. Until eligibility rules are published, assumptions can lead to disappointment or false expectations. It is also important to talk about taxes. One-time payments are often structured to be non-taxable, especially when labeled as rebates or relief payments, but that is not automatic. Seniors who rely on tax refunds or who carefully manage taxable income should wait for official clarification before making financial decisions. Planning ahead is wise, but reacting too early can cause mistakes. Many seniors are also concerned about how a one-time payment fits into the bigger picture. A $2,000 payment can help with immediate needs, but it does not solve long-term affordability challenges. That is why it is critical to keep focusing on monthly benefit stability. Social Security cost of living adjustments, Medicare premium changes, and supplemental assistance programs have a greater long-term impact than any single payment. Relief discussions should be viewed as an addition, not a replacement for ongoing benefits. January can be an especially sensitive time for older adults financially. Utility bills are often higher, medical expenses reset with new deductibles, and property taxes or insurance premiums may come due. If a rebate or stimulus payment were to arrive during this period, it could provide meaningful relief. However, seniors should plan their January budgets as if no extra money is coming, and then treat any unexpected payment as a bonus rather than a necessity. This approach protects you from risk while still allowing you to benefit if relief does materialize. Another practical step seniors can take right now is making sure their information with the Social Security Administration and other agencies is up to date. This includes correct mailing addresses and direct deposit information. If a payment were issued automatically, outdated information could cause delays. Taking care of these details now is a low-risk step that puts you in a better position regardless of what happens. At the same time, staying informed means choosing reliable information sources. Rumors spread quickly, especially online, and seniors are often targeted with misleading claims designed to generate clicks or fear. Official announcements come through formal statements, benefit notices, or recognized government communication channels. If you do not see confirmation through those sources, treat claims with caution. No legitimate program requires urgent action from you to claim money. It is also worth acknowledging the emotional side of these discussions. Many older Americans feel overlooked or anxious about the future. Hearing about potential relief can bring hope, but uncertainty can also increase stress. That is why understanding the process matters so much. When you know how decisions are made and how payments are delivered, you regain a sense of control. You can plan realistically, ask the right questions, and avoid panic. Looking ahead, policy discussions about rebates, stimulus-style payments, and executive action reflect broader concerns about affordability and retirement security. Even if one specific proposal does not move forward, the pressure to address senior financial stability is not going away. This means continued attention to benefit protection, healthcare costs, housing affordability, and inflation adjustments. Staying engaged and informed helps ensure that seniors' voices remain part of the conversation. As we close this video, here is what matters most. Right now, there is discussion and speculation about a possible $2,000 payment and a January rebate timeline, but nothing is final until official action is taken and details are released. Seniors should not make financial decisions based on headlines alone. Focus on what you can control, budgeting carefully, keeping your benefit information current, protecting yourself from scams, and understanding how government programs actually work. You have learned how executive action differs from legislation, why timing matters, how eligibility could be determined, and why patience and clarity are essential. Knowledge is your strongest protection. By staying calm, informed, and prepared, you put yourself in the best possible position to benefit from any real relief that may come without risking your financial security in the meantime. No matter what happens next, remember this. Your stability matters, your questions are valid, and understanding the facts helps you move forward with confidence rather than fear. As we wrap up today's update, the most important thing to remember is this. Information gives you power, but patience protects you. You've now heard what is being discussed, what is not yet confirmed, and why it's so important not to rush into assumptions when headlines start moving fast. When it comes to stimulus talk, rebates, or executive actions, the details always matter more than the excitement. By understanding how these decisions work and how long they actually take, you protect yourself from stress, disappointment, and misinformation. If any real payment or rebate is officially approved, it will come through clear government announcements and through the same systems you already use for your benefits. Until then, the smartest approach is to manage your finances carefully, plan as if no extra money is coming, and treat any future relief as a helpful bonus rather than something to depend on. That mindset keeps you stable and confident no matter what the news cycle brings. Thank you for taking the time to stay informed and to look out for your own financial well-being. Updates like this are not about fear or false hope, but about clarity, preparation, and peace of mind. Stay alert, stay patient, and most importantly, stay confident knowing you now understand the facts and can make decisions that truly work for you.